Sport Fishing on the Fly is brought to you by Togens Fly Shop, Maui Jim Sunglasses, and Hardy Rods and Reels.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to On the Bench. Here again today. We're going to be tying you up when these newer patterns are been around for a long time, really. Here's a Frenchie Nymph. I'm tying on the jig hook to ride upside down. We've been tying jigs for a long time, really, and actually my mentor Walt Lawson at Redcliffe and many other guys were tying small jigs for the ultralight boys way back when, and been very successful with them. So we can tie a lot of these nice trout patterns on these jigs, and it's kind of a new fad in fly tying, I think, and been very successful too. So we'll go over the materials we'll use to tie. This is a basic Frenchie Nymph, and I want to show you a couple little things that I've done maybe that you haven't seen out there. Okay, so to start, you always need some good hooks, and one of our sponsors, I'll tell you, they do a great job, is Togens. They've got some these nice 60-degree jig hooks. I'm going to tie this in a size 12. Great hook, and also they have all the beads for you. This one here I've tied in a coffee brown. It's a 1/8 size. It's the slotted. It's a tungsten bead as well, so even heavier than lead. We're going to be using some fluorescent orange, fire orange 8/0 thread to tie with. We go to threads. Also another, pleased to be on the Semperfli team, and I'll just show you, like, I mean, they've got threads. If you can get your hands on some of this stuff right here, I mean, here's some classic fluorescent threads here in different sizes, different colors. But that's going to really do a job on different Frenchie nymphs and other small, these nymph jigs. So we'll be using some of that. In this fly I'm going to be using some Semperfli wire. It's 1 millimeter, 0.1 millimeter. The Togens people again sent me a lot of this product to use. I've got the shadow dubbing. This is the light shade. That's a lot of great blends in this color. Hope the camera will pick that up for you. The trouble, what I didn't like when I'm tying this fly is the fibers are very long and soft. And you just wrap them around the shank, it really doesn't create the collar I'm looking for here. You see on that, I've got nice short little fibers and a nice little collar coming out. If I use the longer fibers and I pick it out, I get a lot of bushy, longer materials in there. Or if I would just wrap it straight down the shank, or down the thread I should say, then I'm winding it basically on like a dubbing, and I want this on as a little bit of a collar. So what I do then is I take this dubbing and I'll take some larger scissors and I'll chop this up very finely and put it in my little coffee bean grinder, and that saves the day. It's going to create a really nice little dubbing for me, and I just did a little batch, but you can see these fibers are really short. They're about a 1/8 long, so I chop that. So what else do we need? Yeah, the nice thing about the Frenchie Nymph, we need some good pheasant tails, center tails, good long fibers there, and we'll go to work here. We need also some lead wire. I'm going to be using this as a size 12, so I use a 0.15 lead wire on the back. We'll get a hook in the vise here, wrap one of these up. So basically we have the slotted bead on. I have the small size going forward. The slot allows it to go around the corner, and it fits right down tight there. So to help build the taper on the body and also hold your bead in place, I'll take about 7 turns and pull it down straight so it just comes off, breaks off close to the shank with a bobbin loaded with my lead. That works quite good. Then we'll come in here with the thread, and I'm just going to get started behind the lead wire here to hold that in place. And here's also a nice little product. Togens sent me off these little spring scissors. Real cool color, and they're nice little nippers. You can hardly feel them in your hand. I've always been tying with my my anvils offsets in my hand for years. That's my go-to scissors, and they've been really good to me too. But if you haven't tried these Togens, these are really nice and handy for any of you tyers who want to try some of them. You tie with them in your hand, leave them on the bench, whatever you want. I'm just going to continue my little taper back here. I'll come right into the end here. These are barbless hooks, but I'm coming right to the tie-in point. Then I'll bring in some of my extra fine wire. I tie that on first, bring it to me. That's the Semperfli, very extra fine wire there. Then I'll come in with the Pheasant. And I'll take about, make sure the fibers are coming off straight. And then we'll clip off a few fibers here, maybe about 6. The tail will be nice and even. I just measure that about length of the body. Take a couple of turns. A little bit of that thread wants to show off in the back. That's okay, that's a little hot spot. And then I'll wrap my thread just ahead. I'm just going to use I'll just leave the little hot spot shown on that one too, just give you an idea. That colored thread. So I'll take that forward, and then I'll just hold that with my finger so I don't lose it, and catch the material off. Trim it off here. These are actually serrated little scissors. Boy, they're great little. Don't underestimate the size of them. They look good and they work great. Then I'm going to counter wrap with my wire. Reverse wrap it forward. Hold them fibers down. Pheasant-tailed nymph actually is what we're doing here. And I'll throw a 1/2 inch in. Now with my Norvise or my rotary style vices, you can dub right on the thread. I'll just show you how quick that works and how you get a nice little collar. You get all the nice fibers sticking out the way I want. They're not the lengthy fibers, so I can get a really nice collar on there. And I put just as much on as I want, and then fold it back. But it's not going to get too lengthy. If you chop it up nice and fine, you're going to get a nice collar. Now, if you don't have that rotary vise, like most people use standard, or stationary vise, let's just say that. Another way you can do this is take some dubbing wax, a little dubbing wax on there, your thread to make it extra sticky. And this is a technique Gary LaFontaine done this years ago called a touch dub. And you just touch that on. Here I gotta put my hook in. I must hit my lever there over some point. Okay, so you can touch that dubbing on there. It'll just kind of stay because you got the wax holding it. And it looks pretty buggy on there, but it is short fibers, so I know it's not gonna do anything. And then you can come around, and it'll give you a nice collar as well. Pull that off, and gives you a nice buggy collar. If you want to go that way, you can trim it down a little bit, shorten it up even more. I think that bit of my dubbing, I didn't get it blended as short as I wanted, so I'm just going to trim it down a little bit here. But it'll give you a nice collar, and I think that's important. That's a look that I like. And right on the front, you can whip finish that. You can put some head cement on there if you like, and whip finish, and you're good to go. So here it is, a little Frenchie nymph. A lot of guys are doing them. They're a great little fly, nice little jig. You can use these in streams, rivers, lakes, They're just a great pattern. You know, you take a hare's ear nymph and you just trick it out. First of all, by getting it down with a weight. You got a little strike trigger at the back with the thread, then there and the front. And if you don't want it at the back, you just cover that with your, when you wrap your pheasant tail forward. But you can put some really nice hot bright beads on them if you want. I don't want too flashy. Sometimes I like them a little more sublime, and this dubbing is really nice stuff. So they have the dark and the light, and you can use ice dub, you can do whatever, but shorten those fibers up is something I wanted to emphasize with you. So thanks again for watching, and thanks Togens for bringing us some really good products, and one of their sponsors for us. So catch you again real soon. Thanks for watching.